Hey everyone, Flav here from the Blockchain Game Alliance. Very happy to be with you today for another BGA Talks. The idea is to talk about a specific topic related to blockchain gaming. And obviously, we have a lot to talk about, but today it's going to be a focus on launching a game on Epic Games, which could be very easy, a very easy topic and obvious answers. But what about Web3 games? I think we have a lot of use cases in the BGA we should highlight. And in terms of infrastructure, but also in terms of games, we decide to launch on Epic based on the kind of timeline they have for their games. So it's going to be an exciting time. And I'm very happy to welcome our speakers of today. And I will let you, briefly introduce yourself and what you do and the company so we can start. I can start asking questions for sure. So yeah, Andy, happy to have you. Always happy to have the Sequence team. And can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, generally, great. Thanks for having me. I work at Sequence at the on the Unity and Unreal SDKs that we provide. Like here at Sequence, we have a full tech stack, focused around making it really easy for any developer for games and general apps to make it really easy to integrate blockchain and Web3 functionalities and features. And yeah, I'm responsible for the Unity and Unreal SDK, specifically whenever games want to integrate our SDKs into their games.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting in terms of the SDK you're building for games, and maybe having some feedback from the boys we have today, and from you as well, working with those games and the implementation of the SDK to those games. We launch on Epic, but it's also interesting because you launch Flourish Islands. I love what you do, Sequence, because you always try to tap into something new, but you iterate yourself, like you're building a game yourself and you learn from what you did before, and so you can build the best platform infrastructure for the other games. Something you did with Skyweather as an example, which was a good case study we had a few years back. So you launch a game on Epic as well, Flourish Islands, so it will be good to also capitalize on your expertise on that launch. So yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Going to Facu. Facu, happy to have you with us. Can you talk about yourself and the game?
Hey guys, pleasure to be here. I'm Facu, founder and CEO of Netherak Entertainment. We started this studio 4 years ago with the main goal to create digital products below our IP, being Netherak Demons, the first game we are developing. It's a top-down ARPG, which the main USP that's you are a demon. You are not a human killing monsters in a dark world. You are a demon who punish humankind to get resources and use those resources to fuel the restoring of your demonic citadel. So yeah, that's in general the concept. But as you can imagine, as a top-down ARPG like Diablo or Path of Exile is a complex game. We tend to differentiate with a deep lore. We have a single-player campaign and some other features that we believe we are innovating in the Web3 gaming ecosystem. So yeah, that's an overview.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that because you are the designer, the lead designer of the game, but I really like the vibes. And we smiled together with Matheus about the lore you have, because it's actually quite different, which is something you really need in this industry. And I have my demon with me thanks to the team, so thanks again for that, with the NFT collection you launched, but also the few iteration of the game you launched on Epic too. So I'm gonna share some links within the video for sure. But yeah, thanks for being here. A collection I don't have comes from Obitus, but I'm sure they're gonna give me something at some point. But also because the campaign was super successful on Immutable, I know that for a fact. So yeah, it's good to have you, Matheus.
Hey, by the way, I thought you already had, so I'm gonna talk internally because I know your name's on the list of airdrops here somewhere.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
indeed.
ask for.
No, I think we're just in the process of doing the whole thing, but your name is on the list.
Oh, that's cool.
But I'm Matheus. I'm the product lead at Obitus and at Overnights. It's a fully customizable card game that is already on Epic. We are in a very early alpha, which gives me very interesting stories of Epic games. And we are already integrated Sequence, right, which is pretty much our login and wallet provider right now. And on Overnight is a fully customizable card game that tries to bring back the feeling of TCGs, the trading card games that we had on the old times, like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, like physical things that we call TCGs, that when they became digital, they start being called CCGs. And our dream is, and the catchphrase is, we're trying to bring the T back to CCG, the trading part instead of the collectible part. And to that is where we are bringing the whole web3 and blockchain thing and bringing that tradability back to digital games. So that's our dream with Overnights and with Obitus.
Love it. And we're going to have the team with us next week in Cologne in Germany, because we have a booth with the BGA, and we're going to be able to play the game. And again, the campaign on Inevitable was quite a success. So it's going to be good to talk about that with you. And, the question, the first questions could be fairly easy, especially when you're launching a game. The decision to publish that on Epic, it could be a very easy decision based on the audience. But you developing a game, also with blockchain functionalities, maybe not now, but in the future, I would love you to Facu and Matheus, to explain why you actually decided to publish on Epic. I've seen that you wanted to also, my understanding, you wanted to test also the game. From the testing phase, it was part of your strategy to get a new audience. But I would love to have your idea and why you decided to go for this implementation of the game within this traditional gaming distribution. So Facu, if you want to start.
Sure. So I think in general, Epic Game has the most open major PC platform to blockchain games, and it let us build the game how we want it. We have heavy restrictions. There's also relationship, of course, because it's the same company. We are building our game in Unreal Engine 5 and Epic Games. It belongs to Epic Games. There are some, some solutions you have because of that relationship. And there's also a culture between, and this is not too relevant, but it's something that we've seen on the Epic Game side, on how they motivate indie developers. In general, I feel like compared to Steam or to other companies, I think Epic Games has a lot of solutions thought for indie devs. And in general, everyone can tell this is you have restrictions on Steam regarding blockchain games, and if you go to Epic Games, it directly lets you choose if you are a blockchain game, and everything becomes easier after that. It's very clear, it's very straightforward on what they ask you, what you need to comply with. So in that side, those were the main reasons.
You're muted.
Good catch. Thanks. Maybe a question for you, Andy, and Facu. You will be the one to answer based on what you said. Do you feel like, so I understand the connection you're building on, on the game engine, you're building on Unreal. It makes it super easy to, make the link and publish it on Epic as well. So Andy, on your side, is it something do you feel like building a blockchain game make it harder, this link between the game engine and the game distribution channel? Do you feel like this is a challenge you had to handle on your side?
Not so much. I think generally, when it comes to publishing a web3 game on Epic, it was surprisingly easy. I was also in the narrative before that of course publishing a web3 game on any store is really hard and challenging, especially if you have payment structures included and integrated. But actually it was surprisingly easy. In my case, at least, right? It becomes more difficult, on a case-by-case basis, or if you have a marketplace or IAP structure where you have a purchasing NFTs, right? Then it of course becomes more challenging. But actually, I think what's also really interesting when you generally look about around the Epic Store and Epic Games, and they are trying to also increase their market share compared to Steam. And I think it's also only in their interest to just get that audience of Web3 games onto their platform when other games like that just cannot publish on Steam so easily. And I think Epic Games in general has a lot of good initiatives. Also when you compare them, their fee structures to other gaming stores. that's a big factor. And also like one, I think, really interesting topic to also have a NFT purchase structure with their significantly less fee structures.
Yeah, they recently announced the drop down of the fees the indies or any kind of developers actually have on Epic, which is a big move. I mean, kind of a big change in the industry, and I hope Steam is going to do something about it, because it feels like there is no competition anymore based on these only facts. So okay, got you on that point. Matheus, what about you? What was your motivation to launch on Epic?
So we look at it for two sides. One is the Steam/Epic thing. That's the more obvious one. And indeed, it's a matter of, it's not so easy to do that. There is web3 games there, but they have to be on a very specific leash. And it's dangerous. Not dangerous, but like if you rely on something that's so not so clear, and out of the blue they change a politic and you just lose your only store, then that was dangerous. So at that point was not, Steam was out of the table, right? So it was Epic or like more Web3 or other stores. And for us, was a matter of what we're trying to do with our game. And it's about being as fictional as possible, right? And that's where, for example, Sequence comes in on the logging stuff. Is we are all about making it as fictional as possible. So it's a game that has Web3, right? Instead of being the stigma of, oh, it's a crypto game and now I have to know all this kind of stuff. You don't. So we could go for other stores, and we're probably going to have partnerships. We actually have partnerships where we are available on other stores, but our main point is on Epic first because of that friction of, you know where it is, you can get it there. Because we believe on tackling one challenge at a time, so we're going to solve all the friction in game first, and then we can solve all the store frictions and all the Web3 stores that we can use to leverage our product with a smaller fee.
Question for all of you, and starting with you, Andy. Do you feel like it's more difficult when you're building a blockchain game to dive into the Epic policies, or it's actually the same thing as if you wanted to build any kind of game?
No, I mean, they definitely have like more restrictions and like requirements on their end to make a Web3 game on their platform. But I think it's like fairly simple, right? You have that FAQ page, you have that warning banner on your front page, and there's also like some process to let them know how the wallets work in your app. And that was like the main support ticket that I had to go through and just explain them how the wallets work and how players can interact with that. But yeah, of course, like they want you to be transparent with how Web3 works, and there's definitely more restrictions and more work on that end.
So I understand the only restriction is really in terms of visibility, transparency about the kind of game they are facing, right? Okay. Is it something yeah, go ahead.
I think also like when it comes to like external purchases or like generally, right, like how you make your NFT purchases, they just recently like also started to allow for external purchase options, which is really nice. iOS also does that now since the Epic against Apple fight, which is also really interesting. But yeah, like that's also an option now.
I guess that's where you try to captivate your, like you try to become interesting with your partners of games when you actually develop marketplaces for them. And it's actually easier for you to talk about the ability for games on Epic with blockchain to drive their users into the marketplaces you're building for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have like different integration paths. They can have it like on an external website as an off-chain or like, yeah, external purchase essentially. But you can also have like your marketplace inside the game itself through our SDKs, and basically leave the option open for both cases.
So what about you guys? Like in terms of if it was just in terms of transparency, giving all information about to the users about how it works and NFTs, not NFTs, or the wallet and everything. How do you deal with that, or do you feel like you had to deal with something else as being a blockchain game, publishing something on Epic and the kind of requirement they have? Facu, I don't know if you have anything.
Sure. I mean, like for us, it was mainly like an ongoing process, because when we started, we haven't all the blockchain features developed, right? So it was like, for now, what users could expect was like something not too robust in terms of the blockchain features, but yes, they make sure to ask you all the questions and to request contracts and everything for them to check, which is speaks well about them, about Epic Games. But yeah, now we are expanding features and we're adding things. We have been needing to be in contact with the team of Epic Games, because some parts of Epic Games in the dev portal are not so explicit on that matter. So it's been like a mix between reading documentation, understanding how to do things, and asking them, hey, what do we do with this? But yeah, it's been something like that.
Yeah, Matheus, I saw you reacting to what Facu said.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I had the same experience with of Andy of is just doing this, but there's no documentation or there was no obvious documentation anywhere. So it was the same experience, but was not easy. There was a lot of back and forth, and on our particular case, we wanted to release in a specific way of having the keys and so early access, limited access, and we wanted to do through Epic early access system because it even gives you some reach when you do that once. You have that one chance. Uh, and when you do the whole Epic thing and the way you have to work on the dashboard is very specific. It's very custom. Of okay, you have a start from the game. If you try to update one, you have to update the other, and then it takes some time for them to return to you what went wrong, and then they don't necessarily say exactly what it is. And because it's not a new store, but it's a less prominent store than Steam. It's all about the networking of knowing someone that did it right before you, so you can ask someone because the documentation is just not there yet, right? So it was a lot of trial and error, and if you have a deadline as we have, it starts to become very tricky. Of if I click this button to see if it works, and I launch my game by mistake, I can't unlaunch it, and I lose my push that Epic does. So there was one or two nights that I didn't sleep well because of that, but it worked out.
So, which is good, which is the best thing to hope. Okay, so you had these challenges to front and to tackle on your side as well. Okay. I like. Do you? Is it a strategy? So now you obviously at the very beginning of launching the game, you did so well with the things you already did in terms of the testing phase and the collection you've launched and everything you already did for the past 6 months, maybe a little bit more. If you Do you feel like you got the good strategy on your side in terms of exactly what you said, like on Matheus' side, capitalizing on the option from Epic to register for upcoming release of the game, on Facu on your side to just test and learn about the integration of blockchain which will come along the way, and no rush of having that from the beginning. Do you feel like it was the good strategy on your side, or you wished you have done things differently with Epic and your launch?
I think I'm not sure I understood exactly the question, but I think yes, we did things well. Like for example, we still in closed alpha. Now we're planning to go public, and in the way how Epic Game works, we did things well, and how we plan things, because it makes sense that in our stage right now we go live now, but I understand there are other type of strategies when you can open the game and, for example, I don't know, make wish list incentive for players to come and play, or to make the wish list to increase our wish list in the Epic Game website. There could have been other ways to do it, but I think how we did it wasn't bad. But yeah, I think um, over the time, and over the experience of projects like us, other people will understand what's the best way to prepare things and to plan the roadmap based on these experiences.
Yeah, love it. Super cool. Matheus, what about you?
Yeah, I don't necessarily regret what we did. I think it worked fine. we had just one limitation that we wanted to do different alpha versions, and we have different keys on different releases, right? So we have this first alpha, and you have a key, then the second alpha, you have another key. So we were trying to do that. We couldn't do it Epic because we didn't really know how. So I'm not gonna say we regret what happened. We learned. So the next release is gonna be better. It worked out in the end. It's just not exactly what we're trying to do. So learning experiences. But I don't regret because it's how we learn.
Test and learn. Agree with that. Andy, what did you learn overall with the game partners you're working with, launching on Epic? What kind of do you feel like the pain points, also the strategy of launching on Epic and being a blockchain game, they rely on what Facu and Matheus said, or you may have other situation you would like to talk about?
I think like that already covers it like pretty much. Like in general, right, like publishing on stores is like can always be painful. I think like in general, also Epic doesn't really do well. For example, with Matheus' point about the docs, like Epic Games and also the Unreal Engine really needs to work on their docs to improve that and just make it easier for the developer experience and publishing like the games on the stores.
When do you feel like at some point there is you try to trigger the interest of building a marketplace for them when they launch on Epic, or at some point when they are on Epic? Like what kind of strategy you advise based on the kind of tool you have, in addition with the SDK sequences having maybe other services you're delivering?
Yeah, so in general, like developers can, of course, always integrate the marketplace directly into the game. And I think that's the much more seamless user experience when people can directly make their trades like through the app and are not externally linked to a website or something. I think the website part, for example, is like really valuable just for development, because we have like a white label marketplace that you can just get up running really quickly in a few minutes. Then you can link that from your game and just test out the marketplace stuff, and then like come back later to integrating the marketplace on your app directly.
Because Matheus, you did launch the marketplace at the same time of your launch for the game. I remember you already have the marketplace in place for the game on your side, or not yet?
No. We already had launched the game for quite a while. This version, the alpha version of the game, right? We didn't do the real launch yet for a while, and we just launched the profile picture marketplace on Token Troll. So it's a platform,
Okay.
not on the game, not, and this time around, sadly, not with sequence.
Yeah, which is fine. And do you feel like
We gotta change that.
it's going to be another discussion you may have for YouTube, but definitely. So is it easy to link, to give incentive for the one who's using or playing the game through Epic, and the fact that they can have access to this marketplace of PFP, or it wasn't the purpose on your side? You didn't want to capitalize on the audience you had within the game to go directly to the PFP site you have?
So our strategy didn't work in capitalizing the players into the PFP. It was the other way around. So we didn't need that aspect. We could have used, we didn't. Yeah, we missed that one. But it was very easy for us to integrate either way, of detecting with the sequence API or with the sequence SDK what you have in your wallet and use on the game. And it was pretty safe. We didn't need to do anything else because all we're doing is beating a wallet. We're not selling anything in game as of now. And if we try to do anything else, we will do the same for now on this early stage where we're trying to be safer but still providing the whole experience to everybody. We would go for something more like the Web2 approach of web stores, right? Sequence has this whole marketplace that you can deploy in like a few clicks. So you're gonna do that and link in the game, and that's it, and that's just gonna work.
Got you. Something I really like is the feedback we got from members who said, okay, we're developing a blockchain game, wherever it is published, but our goal is to tap into any kind of audience. Like, we're not talking to specifically crypto enthusiasts or any of that kind. So you may face an audience which is player, which is good. We need players, and they really like the fact that players who don't know anything about blockchain and discover blockchain through the game from the NFT collection or from a specific staking reward or anything like that. And they discover blockchain through the game and thanks to the game, and they actually share this kind of experience to the game developers who love it for sure. Did you experience something like that already on your side from players from Epic who got into the game and discover? It might not be the case for you, Facu, or maybe based on the NFT collection you've launched, but did you get something like that on your side?
Clear.
Yeah.
For Facu, and why? Because I understand that the idea wasn't to push blockchain so much at the beginning, and with the game you already have on Epic, but at the same time, in terms of communication, you've launched an NFT collection for the lore of the game and to talk about something specific around the universe you're building. So, question was, did you get the experience of having feedback from players to the NFT collection you actually launched and be having some interest from that?
Exactly. Yeah, and that was great. We had a specific role on our Discord for holders, which is like directly related to play testing. They've been giving us great feedback about that, and in our case, we were very much impressed because we received like great feedback, niche feedback, like from the ARPG world, which is not too common. I mean, like many people play ARPG games, but being holders and being the case we have a low supply, we have great ARPG players within our holders, and that was great because it helped not only to get the feedback, but also for them to feel like they are very close to the development team. They have like their opinions and what all their thoughts are having a direct impact on the game development. We recently launched a teaser of the upcoming 1.1 version, and that's what that was made purely based on the players' feedback and play testers. So I think it's going to cause a great impression on our holders and play testers, because it was, and I mean, like, we could have like different type of feedback, but it was great feedback and very well received. So I think it's going to have a great impact on them. So yeah, definitely it's a good thing.
Love it. That's super cool. Matheus, what about you? Did you see a link between the ones who discovered the game and actually get into maybe the collection you were launching at the same time?
Yeah, so the way we approached this from the get-go was always about having more. We launched very early on purpose, like super buggy, because our whole thing was always building with the community. And we wanted that. I want to build with the community. And you, Flav, we have seen the game on so many stages, on so many of the events we went from. So we have been doing that on purpose and trying to create what we see from the Web2 world, that is how products are made from the ground up and getting feedback and then scaling. So our community has always been Web3. We want to get Web3 gamers. We didn't expand into the just gamer yet. We embrace them, whoever appears, but has never been a focus, because our whole strategy is based on that, to get these core people that are willing to stay with us and build the game together with us, right? So that means that when we launched the PFP, our campaigns and whitelists were already from Web3, but it was immutable leaderboards, pre-registration campaigns, all that kind of stuff. So all these people were already there, and they were already here expecting that. So because of the way we did the strategy, we didn't have this influx of, people discovering the PFP because of the game, or discovering the game because of the PFP. There's some people that discovered the project because of some partnership. Someone gave the whitelist and now they discovered the project, but not because they saw a random PFP somewhere. So the way we did the strategy, it was always a one-to-one thing, focus on core Web3 gamers, and then we want to expand into like the whole pie. When you're ready for that, when we have a project that we can be very proud of saying is open to everybody now.
That makes a lot of sense, especially when we develop a blockchain game. You have to please a lot of new audiences, and that's exactly what you did with the players and with also the stakeholders, which could be from any kind of investors per se, but also a lot of different ones. So that's what you did, which is quite impressive with a very, very good numbers. I was pleased to discover from the Immutable team. So that's very cool. And as I said, I love the fact that you're developing things important for the game developers, but from the experience of being a game developer yourself, like with Skyweather, as I said before, but also you launched Flourish Island. So I would love you to talk about this game and how, what is your motivation of launching the game and how it actually fits with what you're building with the Sequence SDK on Epic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like in general, like the game is about like just having a demo to demonstrate how to publish a game on or a Web3 game on the Epic Game Store, and just checking it out also on our case, like how easy it can be, how we can like document it to make it easier for our partners, and just try to get some knowledge for us internally, because it's like always much better if like we do it on our side, and then we have the knowledge that we can share, and we actually went through it ourselves before we can actually start talking about it, how great it is, why to launch a game on the Epic Game Store. It's much better to do it before that, like as well. And the game itself is like a fairly simple game. It has like some Web3 functionalities to buy some boost packs, which is not relevant for the game experience itself. Like it doesn't like skip any parts inside the gameplay, but it just is basically like a booster, like some special items that you can purchase, and then it just increases or decreases the time you need to spend on building a certain part in your world. And yeah, that's essentially it. I think it was also really interesting for us to discover the integration path for EpicOff, which we also launched support on like roughly at the same time. And that one is also like really interesting for the like developer or like user experience and just how seamless it can be, because you can get a persistent wallet by using that auth token from the Epic Game Store and directly make a session with Sequence through that auth token. And that means that like any player doesn't need to interact with any sign-in modal at all. In that game, we do have like the other sign-in options available, but also like EpicOff, which can be like the most seamless way to have a wallet on a game.
And so because you're working on the Unity part, but also on the Unreal, but also on the Unity part, do you feel like there is a big gap? We know the big gap in terms of how welcoming they are to blockchain games. It's known by a lot of us, but in terms of how you work with how Sequence is actually working with them, do you feel like there is a big gap as well, like the kind of things you could actually overcome when you develop something on Unity?
Like, you mean the comparison between Unity and Unreal for the Epic Game Store? Yeah, okay. Yeah, like, I think it's fairly simple. Like, in both cases, you can have the EOS SDK from the Epic Game Store to make that link with EpicOff, and then you can publish it on the store. In the end, right, like, you are just essentially making the builds that you are then using the upload tool from Epic Game Store to upload the binary and link it to an artifact, and then, send it for review and publish it. But I think the general experience for publishing it and uploading the binaries were like quite similar between Unity and Unreal.
Gotcha. So one of the last questions I have for you might be positive or negative, you would choose, but do you feel like for any kind of traditional distribution channels we have, so Steam as an example, but Epic, which is our subject, do you feel like we're going to experience some movement in their ability to welcome blockchain games? We know that Epic they are, but not so much if we want to do a lot of things. That's why we have other distribution channel in the Web3 space. Do you feel like we're gonna, if you have to bet, do you feel like something is happening, it will be happening in terms of how they are welcoming blockchain games on the platform for, let's say, 2026 to be safer? What is your bet, Andy?
I mean, I would bet that it's actually getting easier. I think you already saw it, especially, for example, on iOS, where they actually open up for external purchases, which is a really great step. And like, especially Epic Games is making a lot to fight against the Apple Store and the Google Play Store to get them open up, like reduce their fees, allow for off-chain purchases, and like purchases on external websites, also like write for the Epic Games Store to actually have that on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. So I think like Epic Games is doing really a lot to make that a lot more accessible on the app stores and open it up for the purchases. But if I would bet, I would really bet that it is going to get easier. And also, right, like I think in general, for example, in America, I saw that there are already less restrictions or like more initiatives towards making stablecoins and Web3 and blockchain more accessible and less restrictive. It's really interesting and nice for also games.
Good that you mentioned stablecoins. That will be a topic, not for now, I'm aware of it, but will definitely be a topic very soon. So that's good to know. Facu, what about you? What do you think? What is your bet?
I think definitely things are going to get much easier. I think indie development will still increasing, and that will, increase the need of facilitating and making it easier to access to game for people. I think if it's 2026, I cannot say, but maybe in the next years or after 2026, we will see major changes with maybe Unreal Engine 6. There are many expected changes and improvements on that side. Metaverse-wise, the way we access game, the way we interchange the assets between games and many things, but in terms of accessing the games, yes, I think Steam has a lot to do on their side. It feels like the experience is very, very old-fashioned compared to what Epic Games is offering nowadays. And regarding the Web3 side, I think potentially there may arise different other distribution platforms. I feel like that's even the currents that are today, maybe they get improved, they receive investment, they get more robust, and you have like another option there, and it's not like only Epic Games, or even like the Web3 gaming concept will start getting better as better games are start like launching, and people can find out that Web3 gaming is not like a bad word like it was in the past. So that will make that other platforms can dedicate exclusively to launch this type of games, and Web2 players. Maybe I bet that many Web2 players will be more open to download games from other type of platforms as well. So that's what I picture.
Yeah, I definitely support your opinion on that. Like, I know and I'm aware that the number one reason why you're actually choosing these traditional platform is because of the audience you already have, and you want to build the biggest audience you could of players. But we're seeing very interesting thing like with BGA members like Hyperplay, and I know that some of you might work with them very quickly. But it's very interesting how they try to change the concept of distributing a game with Web3 mechanic, but without disrupting Steam and not Steam, but they may not know. They don't have any integration of Steam, but they do have an integration of Epic directly to the platform, which makes things super easy for everyone. So yeah, definitely support your take on that. Matheus, what about you?
So for the past year or so, we have already seen changes, right, of games actually being games. They're actual real games that people want to play. Technologies like Sequence that allows you to have a more frictionless logging in like the marketplace, and all that starts to be more and less friction, right? Even payments. So I would say we are almost there with that aspect. And then the second aspect is one very specific thing that I think is going to change how Epic does it. It's going to open up so many the opportunity for so many games, which is removing the NFT tag. Because even though that sounds the way we've been, the NFT world already has a lot of stigma, right? And people just don't want it, even though they don't know what it is. Sometimes they just run from it. And so we have lost a lot of audience because when they go to the game, they see the tag there and they run. So there's a lot of work that we have to do as a community to make people understand that's not a bad word. And from our side, and the way we believe, and the more we believe, is that we are a game first and foremost, and we have a Web3 elements, right? We have the Web3 playbook, but we are a game, not a Web3 game. We're a game that has Web3. And we leverage that the best for everyone, not to make a quick buck. And so when you make the distinction of being a game and all these other tools that allow this technology to work with less friction, and then you remove the stigma part, which is just a word, just tag, then out of the blue, you are just a game as everyone else, but with an increased capability of trading ownership, which is what we all love and we want to sell is I own this, it's mine. So for me, my bet on 25, 26 is that tag is going down and the requirements in other places are going down, and we're gonna have enough frictionless technology that people are gonna understand how to build a product, not a Web3 marketplace, but a product on its own that the ecosystem is gonna evolve, and it's just gonna allow people to say, yes, I want to be a part of that.
I can agree more with that. I think there is a little bit of racism within the platform for us, but the building a blockchain game. And you're right, like NFT at some point, even if we talk about NFTs because we part of it and this ecosystem, I'm pretty sure none of you actually say NFTs when you launch your collection yourself, or not so much, depending on the audience you have. But the word NFT actually evolved a little bit for the past 3-4 years when they decided to have this tag. So hopefully they're going to remove it for sure. No, thanks a lot, guys. I mean, it was the purpose of it was really to benefit from your experience. Like as I said, they were easy questions, but I feel like it's not easy to games when they actually want to build on blockchain to know exactly what kind of distribution strategy they would like to go for. And I think it's good to capitalize on you experiencing this on live, because everything is happening now, to give your feedback on everything. So I really appreciate your time on that. And if we have to do another one for the next 3 months, 6 months, based on what's happening on your side and the kind of launches you're going to have, would love to. New product as well for your side sequence. Would love to talk about that. But yeah, thanks a lot for your time, guys. Really appreciate it. And I see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.